think I speak on behalf of the faculty by saying it's a pleasure to hear about the impact that the arts in Wesleyan have had on you guys as people, as professionals, but most of all as Christ followers. It is just very humbling, and really thank you all for your words this evening. Our final inductee this evening is a stranger to no one in this room, Mr. Zach Young, Headmaster of Wesleyan from 1996 until 2014. It's hard to imagine where Wesleyan Fine Arts would be without the leadership and encouragement of Zach Young. He knew that for Wesleyan to be successful, it would need to be a full activity school, offering all of the programs our larger competitors would boast. Yet Zach envisioned Wesleyan School with a smaller student body, where each student would be known and called by name, would be held accountable for their learning and growth, and where each student would hear the good news of Jesus Christ and see the body of Christ at work. As Zach would always say, small and full activity are in conflict with one another, and that is very true. Yet Zach was not one to speak those words and then sit back and let others wrestle with that reality. He would actively get to know each student and recruit them not just onto the sports teams, but onto the stage, into the band, into the chorus, or into the art studio. He must have sent hundreds of emails to students encouraging them to be involved in art, band, chorus, or theater, or congratulating them on a recent performance, piece of artwork, or photograph. He would also contact the fine arts directors and sponsors, alerting them to an interest, gift, or God-given talent a student possessed that would be of benefit to our programs. I'm not sure Zach ever missed a performance on campus, from a lower school play, many of which you could probably recite by heart still to this very day, to a middle school band concert, or to a high school art show. He was always there, making mental notes and congratulating all students and faculty involved the next day with a very detailed and heartfelt email or comment in person. Jeff Foster shares, "What most amazes me about Zach is that he met all the demands in terms of administrative responsibilities, but it never kept him from knowing everyone and being present and supportive of all things. I'm so grateful for his loving support and for caring about all of those details." Ruthie Colgrove adds, "He faithfully attended every play, concert, and art show and made sure that he recognized students by name, instrument, and grade, and ensemble, either verbally or through email. If there was something he didn't understand, he went out of his way to get an explanation so that he could connect with the students and teachers about their works." As much as Zach enjoyed attending the performing arts events, he also has an eye for visual art. His support of the Wesleyan artist market is unmatched year after year. Megan Brooker commented, "We visual artists secretly looked forward to seeing which artwork he would choose from the Wesleyan artist market with his red dots every year, and then ask advice on where to place it. He was proud of the school in every possible way and left no corner untouched with his thumbprint." Additionally, Zach made it a priority for the fine arts at Wesleyan to have the budget they needed to thrive, all while enjoying one of the finest fine arts facilities in the Southeast. To conclude, I'd like to publicly apologize to Zach. I'm very sorry that we never performed your favorite musical, Camelot, on the Wesleyan stage, but I will quote King Arthur's line from the musical's title song. "In short, there's simply not a more congenial spot for happily ever aftering than here in Camelot." Zach, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for making Wesleyan the most congenial spot for fine arts to happily ever after. You truly set the standard for Wesleyan's love and support of fine arts that we continue to enjoy today. It is my pleasure to induct Zach Young, Headmaster Emeritus, into the Wesleyan Fine Arts Circle of Honor.
You know, that line from Camelot is really one of my favorites. It just shows how great that phrase, "for happily ever aftering," it just always captured me. It's such a beautiful use of language. And I still know all the words to when King Arthur is talking to Merlin about how to handle a woman. So, Olivia and Alyssa and Andrew, congratulations on this unique and permanent honor to recognize in perpetuity your talents in the arts, which either began or were nurtured along here at Wesleyan. I well remember each of you and your time at the school very well, and not just your arts talents, but your good citizenship as a member of the student body. No one may receive this honor without first being a positive contributor to the overall life and health of the school. I am greatly honored to join you as a member of the Wesleyan Arts Circle of Honor class of 2016, not because of any artistic talent I displayed, but I suppose just because I was always among your biggest fans. I dearly loved to see you and all Wesleyan students do what you enjoyed doing: performing, drawing, painting, creating. In fact, that's how I learned your names. The hardest names to remember are the ones that you can't connect to anything. And if you can watch a child do something, you can remember their name because you associate it with what they have done or they have created. The name thing is really biblical, and it comes from the story in Luke about Jesus taking the apostles across the lake to the land of the Gerasenes, and he runs into this naked, crazy man who runs up to him and starts screaming at him. And all of the apostles, they didn't want to get in the boat in the first place because storms come up on the Sea of Galilee, and they call it the abyss. You can die easily in a quick storm. And they didn't want to go over there anyway because they knew it was not a Jewish area, and there would be animosity there. And then they get out of the boat, and this crazy guy who's naked and has been chained up runs up to them, and he's filthy and he smells bad, and there's nothing good about him coming up to them. And they kind of slide back into the boat thinking, I knew this was not going to work. I knew this was not going to turn out well. And the guy starts screaming at Jesus, and Jesus says, "What's your name?" Because he knew he couldn't have a relationship with that guy who was crazy without knowing his name. And you can't have a relationship with anybody, really, unless you know their names. And so that's the lesson from Jesus. If you want to have a relationship with somebody, learn their name. And I can tell you that walking down the hall and forgetting a child's name was the worst feeling of my day. Because if you were able to say, "Hey Andrew," or "Hey Alyssa," or "Hey Olivia," instead of "Hey man," or "Hey girl," which is what it becomes when you can't remember, or instead of saying Alyssa, you say Olivia. And then you think about that for a couple of minutes, and you're all the way down the hall, and you go, "That's wrong." And you know that the children know that you said the wrong name. But I think some gave you credit for trying. And that was sometimes enough. The one piece of art I ever created that had any long-standing impact was a clay project I did at Westminster when I was in the 4th or 5th grade. It was a 4-inch by 4-inch platform with a Christmas scene made out of clay. It had a brick-like hearth with a green wreath with a red bow. And at the foot of the hearth was a Santa doll next to several wrapped presents. Because it is, or was at the time, very difficult, and I'd be interested to know the answer to this, Meg. Because at the time it was very difficult to get a truly bright red once a clay piece was fired in the kiln, my teacher allowed me to use bright red fingernail polish after the firing so that it would be the right red for both the bow and the Santa. Can you get a true red
Depends on the temperature.
Sometimes you can get a really bright red.
If you fire it low.
Back then you could not. You would always
It's difficult. It is difficult. It's one of the most difficult colors.
Yeah. So, at any rate, this was special because it looked right with the red. And it was clear that the Santa was colored the way it was supposed to be. This little piece became a centerpiece for our Christmas decorations each year, and my mother truly treasured it. After Studi and I married, Studi let my mother know how much she liked it too. But mother held on to it despite the covetousness of her daughter-in-law. Finally saying that she might consider parting with it when she produced the first grandchild. We married in 1974 and did not have children for 7 years. But when Mary Stewart, our first child, was born, Mother brought Studi a gift box to the hospital. In it was the little ceramic Santa scene. It has been the central figure at the Young home every Christmas since then. Thank you, Meg, and all the members of the arts faculty for this honor. Thank you, Studi, for understanding when I stayed at school for all the plays and concerts and shows. I could not have been at Wesleyan as much as I was without a wife who understood what it was all about. Studi always understood why it was necessary to send the message that what you, Olivia, and you,